Good evening, Style Esports fans, and welcome to a Shurima Showdown here in Style Esports Season 3. Tonight, we have a best of 3 between the Dark Matter squad and Bagels. Remember, everybody, under our new format here in Season 3, the league has been split into 5 groups of 6, with groups made to contain teams of a similar rating. This is a matchup in our top group named Shurima, hence the Shurima Showdown. Our other groups are in descending rating order: Ionia, Piltover, the Freljord, and the Void. Bringing you the action this evening, I am Jarl Carl, and I'm joined by Timmy Westside, one of our new casters on his debut this evening. Welcome to the stream, sir. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, Carl. Thank you for asking. Excited for this best of 3 here. TDMA ended up making it to the finals last year, or last season. Did a pretty good job winning pretty much every game until then, and then kind of imploded a little bit. So maybe we'll see what happened against Orange Flippers, or maybe we'll see a reinvigorated squad that is a little mad that they got second place.
Yeah, absolutely. They have been rebranded now to the Dark Matter Squads. They're no longer TDMA, so maybe a new brand, new team. And we do have a few personnel updates for everybody. Player 10 is the player formerly known as Squib. So that's who your top laner is here for the Dark Matter squad. Not too sure what's going on with the name change, but we'll be going with player 10 for most of the broadcast because I just read names that are in front of me. So I don't have enough higher level functioning to call him Squib. And also Sagus, the 80 carry for the Dark Matter squad, is a last minute substitute in for JT this evening. No word on what happened to JT, but he will not be here, at least for this game. So yeah, we wish him all the best, but that's the personnel updates. Bagels, pretty standard team that we are used to seeing. So picks are coming through here quite rapidly. This game was pro-drafted previously, which is why they are all picking in order. But yeah, some pretty strong picks coming through. Tank in the top lane for Blue Castle, pretty standard up there, tank meta, and of course Moyo's Tristana, which everybody loves, has been lucky.
Yeah, and interesting too, TDMS did not pick a tank top or jungle, so unless they decide to have a tank in support, they're going to be going, looks like a little more team fight heavy, but not a great tank. So if Maokai just gets a little bit of resistance, it'd be kind of hard to break through him, and then might just get popped down in these team fights if they're not able to cut away correctly.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely could be a problem as we see the bans coming through. The bans, of course, were, a little bit more relevant when the picks were in a different order, so don't pay those too much heed. But yeah, not a lot of tankiness, like we were just saying, on the Dark Matter squad side. A great team fight, though, right? Tristana, good team fighter. Rumble, great team fighter. Wukong, also. Cyclone coming through. What a wonderful ultimate for those team fights. So we'll see how that works out. In the bot lanes, it's kind of just a matchup of two, really famous duos. We're going to have Ezreal Morgana for the Dark Matter squad up against Caitlyn, or Ezreal Yumi, I should say. Excuse me, losing my mind a little bit. Ezreal Yumi on the red side for the Dark Matter squad, and Caitlyn Morgana over for Christian and Inti on Bagel's side. So two bot lanes that work really well together. Of course, we'll see if the Caitlyn Morgana is able to pressure Ezreal Yumi into missing anything or get a kill in lane. That's kind of the matchup: is can Ezreal Yumi survive that lane? So I think we'll see a lot of fighting down there. Yumi, kind of can force fights or just like not fight at all. So we'll see what route they go for. But I think the Caitlyn Morgana lane will be forcing those fights. I would expect, as we have a bit of a dodge here, so we might be going the full distance on this one. But I think I think the game dodged, despite the fact that he picked.
Yeah, that was weird. Maybe a client bug or something. Not really sure what happened.
Yeah, he's no longer logged into League of Legends, so I guess we're gonna be right back into it here in a second. Looks like Inti Script's computer might have been Christian. Not sure exactly which one of them dipped out, but not sure. Anyway, we're all back in the lobby. I think pretty much everybody's going to be ready to go here in just a couple of seconds. So we'll get back into the game, but yeah, what are your thoughts on the draft so far, Timmy?
Definitely going to see if Kaipora decides to gank bot early. Maybe with Yo-Yo Bros, try to 4-man dive. Ezreal Yumi doesn't really push too well, especially not into Kate Morgana with that Morg pool. See if they try to 4-man dive, or even maybe TP 5-man dive early and just try to get that lane behind, because Ezreal Yumi outscales a lot of bot lanes, and Kate Morgana included. So if they don't really do anything, you'll just see the team fight power of TDMS just kind of take over if Ezreal's able to come online with his tier Triforce pretty early. It would be kind of difficult to counter.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like we are going. Somebody else has just left the lobby. Christian has left the lobby. So not entirely sure what is the situation here. We're going to just step aside for a couple of moments here, and we'll be back once these teams are back in that champion select. So don't touch that browser. We will be back in just a few. Welcome back, Style Esports fans, from our brief technical delay. But everyone is back in the lobby. Christian's router has been freshly reset, so he's going with the power of fast internet on this one. Again, this is our Shurima showdown between Bagels and the Dark Matter squad in Group Shurima here in Style Esports Season 3. I am Jarl Carl, and on his debut cast, once again, it's Timmy Westside. How you doing once again?
Still doing pretty good, Carl. Thank you for asking. Hopefully this time the draft works out okay and we actually get into game. I'm excited to see what these teams have in store for us.
Yeah, for sure. We are now back in the Champ Select. We should have that on screen in just a few seconds here, but they are back through the picks up to where you last saw them, so that Caitlyn will be picked here by Christian and IntiScript. Picking up that Morgana. Again, this game was pro-drafted. We've discussed it a little bit. We will continue to do so here for a little while, and then we'll get into this game. But yeah, Ezreal Yuumi against Caitlyn Morgana. A pretty fight-heavy bot lane, I would expect. Caitlyn Morgana is a lane that does want to fight and get ahead, so I would expect them to be trying to land those binds onto Sagas, the sub, once again, coming in for the Dark Matter squad. So we'll see if they're able to land any of those kills, or if Jay of the Deeps will be able to keep Sagas alive, along with that Arcane Shift away in that bot lane. But the mid lane also could go pretty aggressive, you'd have to think. We have pretty aggressive junglers, and Tristana and Zoe are not champions that just want to sit and farm, right? They want to be out there getting those kills, trying to jump in if you're Tristana and Zoe, even with that ultimate. So I think if we're going to see a lot of fighting, it'll probably be in the mid lane, since top lane's kind of just a farm matchup.
Yeah, also curious here if Jay decides to just leave Sagas by himself bot lane, attach over to Wukong and try to get some deep jungle vision and invade, because, really invading Graves' camps, taking away his camps is a really good way to put him farther behind. And Yuumi on a Wukong is going to be really scary if Wukong gets ahead. He's just never going to die with that Stone Skin passive as well, especially in team fights. Yeah,
For sure. Can get really tanky, as, I've at least found in solo queue before I even really understood how his passive worked. I was like, why is this guy so tanky? He's got no tank stats, and I look and he's got, 120 armor, and it's like, oh, that's fun. So yeah, could be very hard to take down. Caitlyn does do reasonably well against tanks as long as she's not super behind, so I think there is potential for tank shred on the Bagels team, although Zoe is more adept at burst damage, and other than that, the DPS is mostly physical damage, so Wukong could just itemize some armor and get out of that one okay. So we'll see how that plays out. I do like the Rumble pick in the top lane, adding a lot of magic damage to a team that ordinarily, or other than that, was just physical.
Yeah, besides Yuumi, it was basically, I guess Ezreal's WE does magic damage. Pretty much other than that, there was no magic damage on the team. So Rumble's definitely going to help in the team fights. Make Maokai have to maybe rush some MR, which is going to help put him behind then, because he's going to be primarily wanting to run armor. But if he's against Rumble, he's going to have to probably, get some magic resist early in the game, so he can't just start tanking in team fights right away.
Yeah, I'd expect to see the Spectre's Cowl, or maybe just the Mercury Treads rushed there by Blue Castle, along with his Bombing Cinder. Of course, you do want that Immolate passive on those tanks these days. It's pretty popular. So we'll see what the item choice is here. But yeah, he could end up spending a decent amount of gold on Magic Resist that won't really serve him too well in a team fight, right? It'll help him in the side lane up against player 10 here, who, once again, is what many of you may know as Squib. The in-game name has been changed, or it's a different account. I'm not too sure, but it's player 10 tonight. So just be aware that is Squib that you are familiar with. But in the side lane, that Magic Resist will definitely help out the Maokai, and no real way to get Grievous Wounds on the Rumble super early unless he rushes that Morello. So the Maokai could be pretty impregnable in the side lane. However, in team fights, if he is just a bunch of MR, yeah, he'll be a little bit, tankier against Ezreal's spells, but in the end, it's going to be a Wukong and a Tristana probably laying out the most of the damage to that front line. Ezreal kind of just more of a poke style champion, not as much the actual person that's going to be killing the tank in those team fights. So I think that Maokai could have some itemization problems, especially if he gets behind early, where to kind of spend that gold can always be a problem. So we'll see what he decides to go for that.
The other thing is, I don't really see Rumble doing too much side lane work, side lane against the Maokai, because, TVMS's team is definitely more oriented towards team fights. So if Rumble starts, sitting in the side lane a lot, then TVMS is losing a lot of their 5-man power, which I think is where they have a clear win condition over Bagels.
Yeah, absolutely. Rumble's not a split pusher by any means. You don't see that too often. But, if the Maokai is in a side lane, maybe both of them have teleport or something, that Magic Resist definitely could come through. So we are going to get into game very briefly here. While we are doing that, I want to just briefly explain the format of the league once again to everybody. This is the third season. We have changed up the format a little bit. So we have 5 groups of 6. 6 teams that are separated essentially by ELOs. The top 6 teams are in their own group, and those are like the top 6 highest rated teams by in-game rank. And so each of the teams will be playing in a group that is around their skill level, and they'll be playing a double round robin best of 3, double round robin best of 3s within their own group, and then the winner of each group will end up being able to challenge the loser of the group above them in order to potentially take the spot in the next season of that bottom group or the bottom team. So there's essentially relegation / promotion matches between the bottom teams and top teams of adjacent groups after each season here. So it's going to be kind of a multi-season progression, similar to how the soccer or football scene is run in England with the English Premier League and the Champions League, etc. So just a little bit of an update on the format. This is the, sorry about that. This is the Shurima group, which is the top group. The other groups in descending order of rank are Shurima. Then we have Ionia, Piltover, the Freljord, and the Void. So all named after league regions once again, but just wanted to take some time and explain what that was. And I'm actually being told that it's only single round robin for season 3. So thank you very much to the voice in my ear that is telling me that. So shout outs to Sky Ripper for that. It's only a single round robin here in season 3 Style Esports. So we'll be a little bit shorter for that one. But anyway, enough rambling by me. We're back in the game, loading in, and we've got a lot of cleanses here. Tristana and Ezreal, both running that cleanse. I guess scared of the Sleepy Trouble Bubble and the bindings, and you know, Timmy, I would be too. And 2 teleports as well coming through here in the top lane. Rumble and Maokai do both have that summoner spell. Smites in the jungle, that's pretty standard. Do not remember the last time that we didn't see Smite in the jungle. That would be pretty troll. So definitely have that. But in the bot lane, double combat summoners for the Yuumi, kind of making up for that cleanse on the Ezreal. It's something that you can kind of do when you are running Ezreal Yuumi, is take that teleport or take that cleanse on the Ezreal, because the Yuumi has that second combat summoner. So you're not really missing out on anything rather by not having heal, which you would consider to be that standard AD carry summoner. So going with the cleanse, we'll see if that's able to do a lot of work for him in the bot lane. Can cleanse the ignite, which is something a lot of people do not know, as well as being able to cleanse away the bindings that might come through the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, like I already said. So a lot of use for that as we are now into the game. Players just loading on, and yeah, let's get this game underway.
Yeah, looking forward to this. As you said, the double cleanse is definitely going to be important here, especially with Morg binding, Maokai binding. You have the Zoe bubble, you have Kate traps. There's a lot of ignites and that sort of thing. So it's definitely going to be a very high value summoner spell if they use it correctly in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a little bit of a top lane something or other going on here by the Bagels. This is not a very typical invade strat, so we'll see how it works out for them. Looks like they have pretty free access into the jungle, at least at this point. We'll see who they do run into, though.
It doesn't look like TDMS is really anywhere around here, so unless they end up wrapping around and find Bisk and Squib, they're not really gonna, or player 10, I guess, they're not really going to anything, but they might find him here.
I think they'll meet here. Blue Castle showing player 10 not reacting to this one. He's going to see him now. The binding goes well wide from Inti-Script. Not able to land that one, but player 10 does have to use the flash. Yo-Yo Bros on the other side has used both summoners, actually, to try to pick up that kill. So in the end, a summoner advantage for the Dark Matter squad. Player 10 looked to be quite caught out there, but in the end, they do come out slightly ahead.
Yeah, that binding miss really kind of made that whole invade for not really. If he had that binding, I think player 10 definitely goes down. Maybe might not use a summoner, but I think he definitely dies there. So bad miss, and now they even are down a summoner, and now they kind of know that Graves is going to be starting top side.
Yeah, a lot of information given over, not certainly what Bagels was hoping for on that invade, but can't always work out for you, right? Sometimes you do have to miss those. You miss 100% of those bindings you don't take. That's what he's saying to his team in the comms, you have to think. So, unfortunate start for them, but you move on, and, we're only 2 minutes into the game, right? So, a little too early to draw any huge conclusions as the farming here is going to start up. Jay the Deep's landing some folks.
Well, yeah, you also see Zoe's pushing in here, so maybe this is going to go for an early gank here. They know Zoe has no flash, no barrier, so maybe a little bit of a early run here by Bisk, maybe try to get Moyo ahead, and if you can get their Stan ahead and get her pushing, then she could potentially go bot lane and help alleviate the pressure that Kate Morg is going to put on their Ezreal Yuumi.
Yeah, for sure. The little bit of trading in the bot lane is to be expected level 1, but like you said, that Zoe is without summoners, and that can be really important, especially for those immobile laners in the mid lane, right? It's really hard to get away, and for Zoe, it doesn't even get helped by level 6. You know, her ultimate's just not an escape tool, right? You know, she always goes back right to where she dashed away from. So you can use it to dodge a skill shot or two, but there are just no skill shots on this team really that can be dodged that she's going to get ganked by. So Yo-Yo Bros definitely will have to watch out for themselves in that mid lane as they worry about those ganks early on, as Bisk looks to be heading topside.
Yeah, so this knows that Graves started topside, which is important for him, although he's on a ward. But so they know Graves is going to be pathing bot side because Graves doesn't usually gank too early. He just tries to full clear jungle. So this is playing smart here, knowing that he can easily just, you know, check topside, make sure Graves isn't there, and look to give player 10 some pressure.
Yeah, pretty nice there for the Rumble to kind of have a little bit of free time in the lane when you know your jungler is nearby. It's always a nice feeling. The Graves in the bot lane, which you'd have to think they expect. They did know that that champion was up in the top lane at the start of the game here. Moyo might actually get put to sleep. Bubble goes a little bit wide, so not to be found right there, as the Scuttle Crabs are going to get traded over. Both of these junglers on a pretty even path with each other, even CS. We might see a little bit of an invade, but it looks like not. Bisk's going to be kind of walking over. And discouraging that invade. No camps up in that side of the jungle anyway, so Kai Pura walks away, and no harm, no foul. These junglers on pretty even footing.
Yeah, I wonder if Katpur is going to try to, you know, stay a little bit bot lane. They do have the sub in for JT, so, you know, maybe knowing that the comms are going to be a little less, or a little different, not as comfortable, maybe he'll try to gank her a few times and just try to get his bot lane ahead. Because Kate Morgana when they're ahead, especially in Ezreal Yumi, is really volatile and really help bring them a lot of pressure and, you know, maybe give them the first 2 dragons and stuff like that. Really helps your overall game plan if you have your bot lane ahead.
For sure, those dragons also can be very important. We'll see if those get started up. Both of these junglers, I think, very well able to solo out that dragon at that 5 or 6 minute mark. So we'll see how that works out. There's going to be a binding landing actually onto the cat in the bot lane. A nice net and Pillar of a Peacemaker coming through for Christian, and a great 2v2 kill in the bot lane. Jay the Deep's just not able to reattach to Sagus. No flash on that cat, of course, and she's just taken out.
Yeah, that was a great job by the Kate, you know, comboing her headshots there. She put a trap down, hit the Q to get the full damage with the headshot vision, then got the headshot auto from the trap, and then was able to net the Yumi and also get the headshot auto on that. So she basically spaced that almost perfectly to get the maximum damage out there, which is really good play by her.
Sagus finding himself in all sorts of trouble here. Nice flash, the net from Christian, not going to connect. He used flash and then net, not net and then flash. Might have helped him out there on that play, but flash blown by both AD carries. The cleanse as well was used by Sagus. Got a little bit greedy with his mana there. Did not have enough for that arcane shift after he used that W ability. So a little bit unfortunate. He's going to get sent back to base as the dragon's actually been started up by the Wukong Yumi, despite the bot lane pressure going the other way. So dragon started up there, trading in the mid lane, not going to lead to anything.
Bisk pathing smartly here, knows Graves is topside, and knows that their bot lane's going to want to back here after getting that kill and pushing and resetting the wave. So he's smartly just going to grab the dragon before they get back, because once the Kate comes back with the F4, this is one of her biggest early power spikes, as we see the gank top. But
sure, gank top, yeah, not a lot going on there, so yeah, just continue.
But yeah, so biggest power spike Kate early is the BF sword. That's like one of her biggest points of power in the early game. She really just gets a ton of damage from that, and usually has way more damage in range than the other bot lane carry. So Bisk knew that if he goes and gets the dragon before she gets back from the reset, he definitely has a bigger opportunity, because now it would be almost impossible for him to pick up the dragon if Kate Morgana came roaming over.
For sure, definitely a good point. So yeah, very well played there by Bisk and Jay of the Deeps. They realized, you know, even though their AD carry had been pushed off, the other AD carry had been as well, right? So they had that opening. Yumi had come back from being dead, and that timing actually allowed them to get that first dragon. So it turned out dying did lead to that objective. Not something you say every day, but it did work out for him in that instance. So Cloud Dragon going over. That next dragon will be a mountain. So we will either see an ocean or an infernal soul, two very powerful souls. So I think the dragons will be an important part of this game, as a little bit more clearing out has to be done. Sagus farming under tower, not Ezreal's favorite thing in the world. It can be very hard for that carry, especially before he has AD. He's doing okay though, a little bit of mis-synergy down there, but he's picking it up.
Yeah, was able to thankfully get the gear, which is what you pretty much always want to get on your first back with Ezreal. So thankfully he was at least able to pick that up on his first back and not come back to lane with just the mana. And also something interesting to point out, you have, looks like a pretty decent lead in CS in both top and mid for TDMS. When Sonic comes back, he's going to be able to pick up this wave, unless
Nice binding in the bot lane. Sagus finding himself in a lot of trouble. Player 10 has to use that equalizer. Another gank in the top as well. So 2v2 plays in the bot lane. The power of that Yuumi coming through, though, keeping Sagus alive through all of that. He ate everything from Christian. Trap headshot, E headshot, net headshot that is, and that Piltover Peacemaker to the face. So a lot of damage coming through, but he did not die thanks to that healing of that support as player 10 continuing to get ganks here in the top lane. He's faced a lot of pressure so far. Zoe roaming up as well. You might see some fighting in the top lane.
Yeah, so with the fact that Kate and Moore got ahead so early, you don't really need Graves to go top. We're just going to kill player 10 here, just dive him, you know, easy, but Biff might be able to get a kill back.
Bisk has arrived. There's the Cyclone. Moyo has arrived on the scene as well. Another double Cyclone coming through. Blue Castle going very low. He has to flash away. K4 going to get taken out. Kaipura, that is, I should say. Bisk picks up the kill onto Blue Castle. So a kill for the jungler and the mid laner as well. Player 10's death not in vain at all, as Christian taking some damage down in the bot lane. But a nice response there by the Dark Matter squad to respond to the dive to the top lane.
Yeah, really good response there. They knew that the top laner was up there, or Graves was up there because they saw him earlier and Flip was able to get under tower. And then when they just decided to redive, this was able to get up there and Moy was able to, ooh, nice snipe by the Ezreal. But Moyo was able to roam up right when the dive was starting, so he was able to get there before the Zoe and get those 2 kills back.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice rotation by them. Doing pretty well for themselves. The gold is even, though, despite that equal or differential in the kill score 3-1, as I think the Herald, yeah, did just go over in favor of Bisk. So nice objective for them. They should be able to grab something with that, but there's the Sleepy Trouble bubble found out of Moyo. Gets woken up with the smoke screen instead of Cleanse to try to give himself a bit more movement speed. Moyo going to just get taken out there as Kaipura does find that kill. Going to find themselves in all sorts of trouble, though. Player 10 has picked up the kill on the double buffs. They go with it. Yo-Yo Bros flashing forward onto this, trying to pick up the kill for themselves. Has another flash to use. Another one on the ground as well if they want it. So summoners galore here for the Zoe, but in the end, looks like just a 1-for-1.
Yeah, Moyo did not get the W buffer on the Susana, so he was a little bit too caught out there. And Yo-Yo Bro just using the Summoner spell just to try to get a little close on Swift, but not too much.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on there. They just use those summoners for fun, right? Those flashes don't last forever, and hey, it's cool, so might as well do that. Maybe you'll confuse the opponent into which one's your real flash if you do that anyway. So little bit of fun there in the mid lane by the Zoe, but pretty even game so far, right? We've seen a lot, it's punch and counter punch essentially. Dragon, you get a dragon, we're gonna dive your top laner. You dive our top laner, we're gonna kill you afterward. You kill our guy, we're gonna kill your guy, right? We have the Herald, but maybe we're giving up some farm across the other side of the map. So a pretty even game so far, I would say, except in the bot lane, right? We saw that great snipe from Sagus come through, but I think other than that, this bot lane going pretty well in favor of Bagels. The CS is pretty even, but I would expect relatively soon for that to get not evened out. Even more creeps actually available for Sagus, but it just feels like Bagels has had a lot of priority and tempo in this lane throughout, so I think that is kind of a bright spot for them if they do want to continue this. Kaipura is down here as well, as is Bisk, so this could be a big party in the bot lane very quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah, teleport comes in. Sorry to cut you off there, Timmy, but they are just going right at it. Sagus going in as well. Christian, the strip rush come through. A nice dodge by that 80 carry to keep himself alive. Sagus has picked up the kill onto Inti. However, they're going to be trying to keep themselves alive under the tower. Christian goes down to player 10 as the Zoe has arrived on the scene as well. Bisk going to get put in the Sleepy Trouble bubble. No abilities available to wake him up. Can they wake him up? Oh, the Yuumi gets on his head, and he is able to keep alive. Bisk going to survive that play, and in the end, again, 1-for-1 play, I do believe, on this situation. Actually, Inti did die as well, so 2-for-1 in favor of the Dark Matter squad, as TDMS is going to be using that Herald in the bot lane and shoving down the gap.
So what I was going to mention right before it actually happened, but I didn't get a chance to, was teleport advantage for TDMS. The Maokai ended up teleporting mid there, and the Rumble ended up walking mid. So they had the teleport advantage there, so it was a 5v4, and they were able to win that fight off of that, as we see some more fighting bot lane.
Yeah, more kind of random dragon take trying to be started here. Sagus almost caught out. That could have gone very badly for him if Yo-Yo Bros had a little bit more mana. Sagus in a decent amount of trouble. He's going to have to use the Arcane Shift just over the wall. You have to think, yeah, there it is. Out of there, and in the end, nobody gets the dragon. Bisk was trying to do that on very low HP. Kaipura came to visit, said, hold on, maybe not. And some wards now being cleared out by Inti as everybody just kind of takes a breath, resets, goes back to base, and they'll just start it all again.
Yes, another big thing there is this Ezreal now is no longer that behind of this Kate So the biggest part of Kate's kit is she's really good early, really good late game, but she has a pretty nasty mid game dip where she does not do as much damage as a lot of other AD carries. She's kind of in between her crit items, so she isn't able to do as much DPS as some other champions. So now that Ezreal started to catch up a little bit, those 2 kills now, he's definitely going to be able to at least match some of the power of Kate in bot lane and make it a lot harder for her to get up to her item capacity.
Yeah, absolutely do agree with that. And I think the build here is really unfortunate for Christian. I'm not sure how much of this was deliberate and how much of it is just kind of forced by necessity, so I don't want to read too much into it. But going Stormraiser first gives her even more of that mid-game gap that you were just talking about. Building Infinity Edge just takes so long. It's so expensive. You can end up on really awkward buys. And so I think going Stormraiser first, maybe it's a little bit more immediate power if you need that utility from the slow, but the damage is a lot lower and it's a lot later spike. It just kind of feels like the way it works. And so especially right now, stuck on components, this is a pretty weak Caitlyn compared to the Ezreal. You take Ezreal in a fight here every time, as we might actually see that fight. We'll see if Jay the Deeps is able to get to his carry. He is not. This is going to go in. This is 3-man Cyclone coming through. Sagas walking forward. No True Shot Barrage available. This going pretty low. This Clone getting that knock up there. Moyo gonna have to cleanse away, but it's not gonna be enough for him. Yo-Yo Bros has picked up the kill. Indescript kept himself alive. Ace in the hole goes out onto Bisque. Not gonna do enough damage. No items completed, like we talked about. Yo-Yo Bros going forward for that movement speed. Can he get the auto attack? Doesn't even need it. The paddle star right onto the backside of Bisque, picking up that kill, and a double kill there for Yo-Yo Bros as Bagels fight back.
Yeah, really good fight for Bagels there. Probably going to be able to pick up the dragon, and this is also really just going to help now because the big thing is if Jay is not on the Ezreal though, or on the Wukong, it really does make their early game fighting power a lot harder. And when Yuumi gets caught out like that, it really decreases the amount of team fight ability they have this early in the game without Rumble there.
Yeah, getting caught out there it's so hard to take a fight. Yuumi is just such an integral part of this team fight that it really enables their carries to go ham, and she was just not able to do so, as we saw taken out straight away. She's not able to use that reattach if she has been CC'd for 5 seconds, which is an eternity in this game. So a little bit unfortunate there. She is back now on her trusty Ezreal, and it's, you have to kind of find a balance between getting vision and keeping yourself safe. Might see a little bit more fighting in the bot lane. Christian there poking away with the auto attacks, but that probably projectile does a lot of damage from Zoe, so something to watch, or from Yuumi, excuse me, so something to watch out for here. Kaipora has arrived back in the bot lane, but no objectives to be taken, so just kind of hanging out as her jungle getting taken.
Yeah, gonna back here and go look up towards the Rift Hill. Just kind of a lull right now with Rift Hill spawning in a few seconds, so Bisque is already over there, and if Moyo can push out the mid lane and just like top got reset, Moyo might be able to go help him with the Rift Hill, although this looks like he's just gonna
should be okay here. Herald is alive, but the second Herald, of course, not quite as important here to these teams as that first one usually is. So that is something to watch out for as well. Might not quite have that same priority that Dragon would, although the Dragons are now at 1-1. So not a whole lot of a fast soul here. It's going to be almost 15 minutes before we have that soul coming through for either of these teams. And we haven't really mentioned, but it will be that Infernal Soul. So a little bit more damage coming through to the recipient of those, and they will get 3 of those Infernal Dragons. So a decent AD boost to the team that may claim that soul as well. But I want to touch on some items really briefly here. The Manamune has been completed for a while. Manamune and Sheen on Sega, so that's a very strong point. The Stormraiser on the Caitlyn, also very strong for that utility. Morella Namicon on the Rumble will cut the healing of Blue Castle, as we do see a fight here in the top lane. Blue Castle going to get forced on here by Bisque. Cyclone's available. It has used it now. There's the first charge of it. Kaipora has arrived on the scene as well. Bisque has that second charge available. There's the dashboard from Kaipora trying to go on to that monkey. Bisque going to be taken out of this one. Player 10 now running desperately for his life. Does have flash, but no equalizer available. I think he will have to use that summoner here. We will see if he's able to turn it actually around here onto Kaipora. Not going to work out as we move in to the bot lane. Final chapter comes through, as well as that True Shot Barrage. A nice arcane shift away from Sagas to keep himself safe from that binding. And in the end, Bisque goes down on a great counter gank by the Bagels jungler, as Sagas should be able to get himself out.
You can just see there how hard it is Maokai to kill the Maokai. They had both ultimates, Wukong and Rumble ultimates used, pretty much hit him with everything in their kits, and he only went down to about half health and was able to run far enough away to have Graves counter gank and get the kill on Bisque pretty easily. So, and the flash of Rumble to boot. So, definitely helps when your Maokai's able to tank that much up and give you plenty of time to be able to get up there.
Yeah, he didn't even have the Spirit Visage completed. That was just completed now on this purchase. So a lot more power even in the Maokai to resist this Rumble's engagements. But yeah, that's a lot of tankiness. Herald now spawned in the mid lane. Bisk walking in. The teleport been channeled on the creep by Player Town. You might actually see a fight here. Bisk walking around, but no Cyclone available. The tower goes down. Kaipura going to get engaged on. Bisk does not have that Cyclone. Again, he flashes onto Kaipura, but not able to get anything else done. No ultimate available for just a few seconds. Moyo pretty low as well. They're onto Blue Castle. Bisk could take an eternity. Moyo forced out of this one. Yo-Yo Bros goes for it. Bisk very low. Moyo caught out here in a bad situation. Uses the rocket jump to get away. Dodges the binding as well. He should get out of this one. Yo-Yo Bros uses that first flash. Ultimate forward as well. Moyo, the ace in the hole, going to come through. He's not going to get taken down. A great cleanse on the Ignite from IndieScript. We talked about that earlier. That has been used as a lot of pressure here by Bagels in the mid lane as their bot tower goes down by that bot lane of the Dark Matter squad.
So now you're seeing here what happens when TDMS is not able to 5v5 team fight effectively. They're kind of just falling behind now. Already 2k gold down, going to be a little bit more once this tower goes down, but really makes it difficult for them when they're not all together, because fighting less than 5-on-5, it's really difficult for them to win these team fights.
Absolutely. Four-man mass recall coming through here for Bagels. They'll be putting some purchases in. I would expect Yo-Yo Bros to have the item completed when he goes back to base. Yeah, has 3,000 gold. Yeah, something looks wrong in that inventory. So he'll want to go spend that before the dragon comes up, which is in just about 30 seconds exactly now. So we'll see if these teams want to fight over it. It will be a completed item on pretty much all of the 6 carries in this game. So pretty equal footing, actually, almost identical build on the 2 junglers here. So these champions are all pretty well equipped to take a major team fight here. Level 11 coming through on all of the top side solo laners. So those ultimates have been powered up. Look for the equalizer to do a lot of damage here early in the game. Has that penetration item, the Merlinomicon coming through. That could be big for him as well, as the dragon is now spawned.
The biggest difference so far in most of these team fights, though, is in the Maokai. The Maokai is basically tanking so much up that they can't really do anything, as you start to see potentially on the fight.
Yeah, here he comes, walking in. Moyo on the side. Equalizer comes down. What a great equalizer in that choke point. Kaipura being taken very low. Player Time going to get taken out as well. Sega's now on a killing spree as Inti has fallen in this fight. There's a second Cyclone coming through, but it's just not doing a whole lot. Blue Castle is just so tanky here. Finally taken out. Moyo tries to jump away, but Christian just wreaking havoc in this fight as Segas might be looking to go in for a bit more. Dodges the trap put down by Christian, but a 2 for 3 in favor of Bagel so far. Segas trying to go in for a bit more, but he's going to get rooted. Steps on another trap, and Christian just shuts him down. He's going forward again. That's a 4th kill for Christian in this fight as Bagels, and especially the Caitlyn, clean up. They're saying, this is illegal. I'm the sheriff. You're in my house, as the dragon going to go the way of Bagel.
Yeah, TDMS basically threw everything and the kitchen sink at the Maokai. Took them basically 5-man people on him, or 5 ultimates on him at the same time to basically take him down. And then, then you just have Christian firing from the backline, just being able to pre-hit, not even getting hit by pretty much any abilities, just able to really do a lot of damage in that fight. And I talked about the mid-game dip of Caitlyn. Getting 4 kills on her in a team fight at 20 minutes really helps alleviate that. And now she has her IE done, which really just amplifies her damage, along with her headshot passive, the W trap, the E headshot crit coming through, really just amplifies all that damage. It's going to make it way easier for her to do damage in these team fights now.
Getting Infinity Edge this early in the game on Caitlyn is just something you dream about if you're a Caitlyn player, essentially. It's just... It makes it so much easier to kill pretty much anybody. We already talked about how there's not a lot of tanks on the side of the Dark Matter squad, and I think that's really going to come back to haunt them now in probably this next fight, I would say, because the Infinity Edge Stormraiser, she's already passed for mid-game, essentially. The mid-game dip for Caitlyn is between 1 and 2 items. And, I complained earlier about the Stormraiser build making it a little bit harder to do damage in the mid-game, as we are going to see Player 10 just taken out here by a nice play. They're ace in the hole, picking up that kill, getting Christian even farther ahead. But, she's escaped that mid-game play almost entirely by winning that fight. And so she's just going to be able to do so much damage now. She'll be 2-shotting. If she gets 2 crits in a row, she'll take out pretty much any of these champions. And that's just really scary, right? If you are the Dark Matter squad, if anybody's caught in a position, I mean, this could be a kill even. You have to think, has the cleanse available to get himself out. Final chapter has been used. We might actually see a larger fight here as the engagement comes through from Biz. There's the shutdown of Christian. He went very low, taken out straight away. Biz for the second cyclone on this one as well. He's going to be taken out by that ultimate from Kaipura as the engagement has come through from Blue Castle. The knockup coming back. Moyo not able to move in this fight, as it once again is just Segas and Jay of the Deeps alive against 3 members. There's no way to carry coming through. It's just Yo-Yo Bros here, the carry for Bagels, as they look to continue this fight. They did end up winning it on members, even though Christian got caught.
Yeah, 2 for 2 in that fight, but obviously Player 10 died earlier, so 3 for 2 in the extended trade there. But you even see 4v4 just TDMS just gets absolutely destroyed. Able to get the 2 early kills, and it's basically 2-on-4, and still doesn't even win the fight. So really just struggling here to keep above water. So just what they're going to want to do to try to stabilize this game. They definitely want to try to, push out the side wave and try to just keep the game from bleeding away any farther, and just try to get some of those item power spikes, get Ezreal his Triforce, get the Leandries on the Rumble so he can start maybe dealing a little more damage. As Vegas just goes in on the Caitlyn, just kills her with Yumi.
Yeah, he just went in and got the kill. That's Yumi, everybody. That's not even as much Ezreal, the champion. I mean, very well played by Sagas, obviously, knowing he could go in for that play, but Yumi just keeping him alive throughout, giving him so much health, added damage as well. The flash did have to be expended by Sagas. We'll see if that comes back to haunt him at some point later on in this game, but overall, a great play, essentially just snatching a kill out of nowhere, right, onto Christian, and really stifling what Bagels wanted to do here for the next little while, as that AD carry is in the death chamber.
Yeah, what I was going to say right before that happened is maybe try to get a pick on someone just to try to alleviate some pressure, and that's what they did there. So if they're able to just stifle the bleeding a little bit, get some of their item power spikes, get a chance to get a nice 5-on-5 team fight where the Maokai doesn't just roll over their team because he's so tanky, they do have a chance of winning, because they do definitely have a better team fight than Bagels, but it's going to take a while to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. You do have to have that scaling advantage here. As we're back into a little bit of a farming phase, just a little bit here, as I think Bagels does kind of want to wait for that next objective take here, clearing out wards on the Baron. They might actually just start this up. Moyo's in the bot lane. Blue Castle doesn't have teleport, though, so a little bit less likely that we'll see that. Only 24 minutes, so it's a little bit early for that, and the Dragon spawning in just under a minute.
Yeah, I don't think Bagels are really going to try to team fight too much without the Maokai. Maokai's basically the difference between losing a team fight and winning a team fight, because the Maokai's there, he just soaks up so much damage, and they can't really, TMS just really can't get through him. But if he's not there, they're able to they have so much damage, they don't have a tank, they're able to just rip through everyone else. So once Maokai gets teleport, they can definitely start to look to split bottom and go, start the Baron.
Absolutely. Sleepy Trouble Bubble coming through. Blue Castle is now on the front line. Christian was in a little bit of a sticky situation, but he extricated himself from that. Now playing a little bit more on the back line as the Dragon Dance has begun. Sweepers coming down. Will they spot that ward? Anti-Script just needs to back up a little bit. There's a nice ward in the backside spotting Bagels. Pretty much completely not going to be seen actually by Inti, so that is not very lucky for them. It will be expiring in just a couple of seconds, but little bit more vision is available here as these teams really just going for the Dragon Dance. The split push in the bot lane, though, Moyo is getting a little bit of a lead there, so we might see a fight force. Blue Castle can kind of do that whenever he wants with the Nature's Grasp. That ultimate is a pretty standard engage for Maokai. We'll see if they do decide to channel it. Red buff has spawned. We'll see if Christian wants to go get that trap line being set up, as these teams really are just looking at each other.
Yeah, not much happening here. This fight here is going to be determined basically by if Maokai hits a nice ultimate and is able to soak in a lot of damage, and if Rumble hits a nice ultimate too and is just able to decimate the backline, because that's one of the easiest ways for them to get past the Maokai and do damage to the backline. And he's now completed his Leandries, does have his Morellonomicon, so he's going to be able to pump out a lot of DPS to the backline without even having to worry about it.
Yo-Yo Bros in the bot lane chasing down onto Moyo. Moyo can find himself in a decent amount of trouble here. Not sure he's going to be able to get out. A nice dodge, but he's going to be taken out straight away. Battlestar comes through. Yo-Yo Bros has picked that up. Back to the main fight on this one. It's going to be a 4 versus 5. Equalizer comes through as well. Blue team has picked up the Dragon, so that's going to go over in Bagels, but they are losing this fight. They need to kite this one out. Christian, can he keep himself safe? Has used the flash to keep himself alive. There is the 1 kill coming through, and that's a triple kill coming through for this AD carry. Tries to get the net out to safety and gets up the kill. There it is, the shot coming through. A triple kill for the Caitlyn. The shutdown as well onto Sagas. And Bagels pull a 4v5 out of their hat. Actually, a 4v4, I should say. Both mid laners were gone. My mistake on that, but a great fight there by Christian, using the flash to keep himself safe. They pick up the Dragon, and they're pushing down the mid.
Yeah, 10 seconds left on Moyo. They might be able to push to the end, especially with 4 members here. Not sure if they're going to be able to get the minion wave in time. It looks like they're not gonna risk it. But right away, try to go get the Baron. Probably going to be able to get that uncontested as well with Kaipor still up, so definitely a big team fight for them. Caitlyn was just able to flash out of the equalizer and then just deal a ton of damage from the backline without getting caught out, and that Maokai just soaked up a ton of damage. Basically was just a brick wall in front, said you can't walk through here to get to Caitlyn. Really helped her just shred through TMS.
The flash on Christian there was, I think, one of the most important aspects of that fight. It seems like a little thing, right? Whether that flash is up or not, but it turns out having that up was able to let him flash out, able to buy a little bit of distance, keep himself safe in that fight, and just pump out a ton of damage. We saw the headshot crit come through. I think I saw it, do 50-60% of an HP bar at some point there, as actually the catch on to Jay the Deep, he's gonna get put to sleep and just taken off the map, surgically removed from Summoner's Rift. Yo-Yo Bros picked up that kill. A great binding coming through for IntiScript as they now have position on the map.
Yeah, and something to point out too, Sagus is by far the most fed person on TDMS. Someone that doesn't do good, and Moyo's going to get caught out here. Yep, and just goes down right away. So now this Baron should be pretty easy to pick up for Bagels.
Yeah, they're just getting ripped apart here, actually. The Dark Matter squad finding himself suddenly just falling apart at the seams. Blue Castle tanking up so much damage. He's not going to go down. Moyo found himself taken out, just wandering off by himself. He's taken down. There's the True Shot Barrage. A nice try, but it's not going to do anything as Blue Team has slain Baron Nashor. Bagels pick that one up. They're up 3 dragons to 1. They're in total control of this game.
Yeah, so unless TDMS is able to do some nice Baron stand, it looks, or some Baron stand at their base, it looks like it's just going to be Bagels running down top or bot lane, and they already have the minions, super minions mid, and just try to end the game here.
Yeah, and going back to base for a bit of purchasing there. We might see them wait for the next dragon, right? That can be something that teams like to wait for and go for that soul. Plus the Baron buff. They'll have a little while, I think, with both buffs if they do pick it up, but not a huge amount of time. So something to watch out for them, as it looks like they are going to be congregating in the top lane here. Kaipura just taking a little, seeing the sights of that alcove up in the top lane. That's always pretty important. So they are going to be slowly bringing that siege to the top lane. They have pretty good siege, actually. You can have, the trouble bubbles flying through, paddle stars coming in, built over peacemakers, and the auto attacks rolling through. Rapid fire cannon now completed on Christian. He'll be able to keep himself a little bit farther back. Another crit cloak coming through as well. So he's at 100% crit chance. All of these headshots will be critting for this AD carry as the top lane tower goes down.
Yeah, he's got that 90% crit chance. He's just going to pop Moyo here. He's luckily going to get block the ace in the hole, but, like you said, pretty much critting every chance is looks like TDMS going to make the last stand.
Yeah, there's the equalizer used, True Shot Barrage as well. Just trying to clear out the minion wave at this point, as these paddle stars are just doing so much damage. There's just a lot. The siege, I even underestimated myself. I said it was good. Turns out it's great at this point. Christian going to keep himself safe. Tower goes down. They're going to be moving on to the inhibitor. Solace being sought on the fountain by multiple Dark Matter squad members. It looks like Bagel's actually going to be quite disciplined and back themselves out of this. They're going to recall and try to go for that dragon. So a very disciplined play by the Bagels. They're going to just be going for that swing.
Smart play here. You got top and mid in hand. You can just go take the dragon and then just start pushing out bot wave. Mid and top are both going to push on their own because they have the super minions. And then you just slowly 5-man bot lane and just try to get these towers down. And then once you have the double super minions, it makes it really easy to just end the game.
Absolutely. A lot of options here for Bagels. They're basically taking their pick on what they want to do. I think they will peel off for the Dragon Soul here. They might actually try to recall in front of that. They do have a decent amount of gold, so they should have time. They do have the Baron Empowered recalls and Home Guards coming through, so they're going to be making a beeline for this Dragon, and you have to think it'll be uncontested, right? The Super Minions are just, pouring into the base. That Dragon, it's such a commitment. You're probably going to lose the fight anyway if you're the Dark Matter squad, so I think you just have to pick your fights here at this point, and I think Bagels will have this Dragon.
Yeah, basically we have to be a miracle steal by Bisque, but do you really want to risk one of your members dying and then it's a 4v5 and you can barely win the 5v5 and maybe not even win the 5v5 as it is, because they might try to fight a little bit here.
Apparently they do, as Moyo just taken out straight away. IntiScript might follow, but he has the Zanya. What a great use of that item. Sagus having to get himself out. This is going to be taken out. Yo-Yo Bros is now godlike. Kaipura just flashing over the wall onto Sagus. He's trying to get himself away, but he just cannot do it. Jay the Deep's going to follow as well here. Doesn't have anyone to attach to it. It's 4-0. The Dragon Soul goes over almost as an afterthought here for the Bagels side, as they're just going to run down the mid lane. This should be a fairly textbook. It is just player 10 here to resist them on this game-ending push for Bagels. The mid lane inhibitor has respawned. They do have one wave of minions. No equalizer available now for player 10. That was already used, so it is just him. 15 seconds on Moyo and Bisque. Sagus a little bit to follow thereafter. I just do not think it's enough time. The first Nexus Tower is under fire. The second one is soon to follow here. Kaipura forcing back player 10. The Nexus now being the focus target, and it's going to go down. Bagels take a 1-0 lead in this Shurima showdown over the Dark Matter squad.
Bagels Eagles look great here. They struggled a little bit early, fell just not as ahead as they wanted to be, considering they don't scale as well. But then they just were able to, snowball this lead, get Christian a few kills, and then from there, the Zoe and Caitlyn were just unstoppable for them, and Maokai just tanking everything just made that way too easy.
Yeah, absolutely. A great game, actually, all throughout. That bot lane got ahead. Christian and Inti kind of got ahead early. They picked up that one kill on Jay the Deeps, and they just never really looked back, right? They were able to take the lead, snowball it. The 4 kills Christian picked up in that dragon fight was, obviously the catalyst that really turned on that Caitlyn, but it just was impossible to shut him down. He had flash in those important fights. Even the equalizer wasn't able to stop him because of that summoner spell, and there's no real other dive. Bisk would get taken out a little bit too quickly. Player 10 can't reach him. Moyo can't really jump in. Moyo was just getting shot in the face every time he tried to do anything. Say is, more of a poke. He's not able to do a whole lot. And Jay the Deeps is just following somebody around trying to heal him. So there was just not a lot of dive on this Caitlyn, and they were just, able to pump out the damage without any fear.
Yeah, definitely just great job by Bagels playing to their win conditions. Knew that if they just get Maokai to get ahead a little bit and just be able to tank up the front line, they really have no way to get to the Zoe Caitlyn, and that's exactly what they did. Just able to look. You can even see with the damage structures how much damage they were able to dump out, basically free hitting all of TDMS.
Yeah, huge amount of damage done. Very well played by them. That is going to do it for game number 1 here. We're going to throw it to a short break. We will be right back with the second game of this series. Don't go away, Style Esports. We'll be right back. welcome back, Style Esports fans, to our Shurima showdown for the evening. It is Bagels and the Dark Matter squad here in Game 2. Bagels did pick up that first game. They are looking to take this series in a 2-0. The Dark Matter squad looking to hold them back as we are in 2 picks and bans. Once again, I'm Jarl Carl alongside Timmy Westside. How's it going? Looking forward to this game, sir?
Yep, thanks for asking, Carl. Of course, always looking forward to more League of Legends, as we're going to see what TDMS decides to do here, trying to, try to pick up some of the pieces that they failed to do in Game 1 and just try to maybe change some things up, see what they try to do here just to get a win here and just try to get it to Game 3.
Yeah, for sure. This game, once again, was pro-drafted, and a bit of a surprise for me. We didn't really consider this in our discussion. It's Soraka top. Looks to be here. 4-player 10 up against the set, one of those main counters that Soraka brings to the table against set, and that will be, spoiler alert, a Maokai support for Jay of the Deeps, as long as we're not being just hard trolled here by these teams. So that kind of changes the complexion of these fights. It will be a little bit harder for the Bagels bot lane to find a kill into that Maokai, right? Definitely a scary support. So we'll see how that works out, but definitely flipping the script on us here in Game 2.
Yeah, you don't see Maokai support too often. Something he's really good at, though, the brush control. Really going to be able to help just, throw one of your saplings in the brush and you just have able to see if someone's in there without even having to waste a ward. So, going to be useful there. One of the issues, though, is he does get less tanky, because you start off with your support item, obviously, and you obviously get less gold generation being support. So, going to be interesting if they decide to maybe go rush to Gargoyle Stone Plate, which is a very popular support pick. But we'll see what Jay decides to do here.
I would probably expect to see him go for maybe a Sunfire Cape if he wants to go for the whole thing for that Immolate passive. It's so strong, like we said. And once again, we have another personnel change. JT is back, so I do not know where he was. Nobody tells me anything, but he is alive and well and in this game. So shoutouts to Sagas. But he is yielding back to that starter. So JT back in on the Aphelios. And, if Maokai gets in, Aphelios can do a lot of damage. So I think this bot lane will see a lot of fighting. I know I said that last time, and then there was a lot of fighting, but I think there will be again. Draven just needs to get kills, right, to get ahead. And I think that Maokai and Aphelios is a lane that can actually fight back. So I think we will see a lot of head-to-head, as opposed to the other 2 lanes, which might be a little bit more peaceful. Karma and Soraka are both champs that aren't really renowned for their fighting. Karma likes to skirmish and poke, and so does Soraka, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of all-ins by the Soraka.
Soraka top was pretty popular a couple months ago. They nerfed her. She's kind of coming back a little bit. Actually does pretty well into set here. She can silence him whenever set decides to run up to her, which is really valuable. And also the Q move speed is really helpful, just the healing and the overall safety of Soraka. And she's pretty much always going to be useful. If you get a gank off, you just W your Lee Sin, just really helps him keep him healthy and that sort of thing. And she's just a great team fighter with the ultimate. So, does well enough in a set that she should be useful later into the game.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see if the set's able to, get on her, maybe call up a gank from Kaipura. We'll see how that 2v2 does go. But yeah, Soraka's definitely a good champ in a set, right? I'm not trying to say that she's not, but I would be a little surprised if we see a lot of all-in 1v1 kills here by player 10. I think it very annoying, obviously, for Blue Castle to face, but, set has a lot of regeneration as well. So I think we could see a decent amount of, small trading, skirmishing up in that top lane, and then just kind of just falling back to heal. So we'll see how that does shape up. Jungle matchup, we have a Lee Sin, so a very, kind of traditional jungle, Lee Sin versus Graves. Both of these very early game, a lot of early game power, early dragon potential for both these carries. I think the focus, again, will be around bot lane. I think they'll try to get the dragons early. They want Draven to get ahead. They want to keep Draven from getting ahead, and so I think that will kind of funnel the pressure into the bot lane, especially once level 6 comes through, because player 10 does have that wish, right, on Soraka. So we'll see how that communication is coming through as well. Could be very important if they try to flip a bot lane play, try to do a counter gank, and just kind of flip the script and Bagels.
Yeah, kind of like the GP thing, where you have a GP top lane, but if you just ult your bot lane, it's basically like having your 4th member down there. Really easy to do. So, and also the other thing is Soraka top gets to level 6 a lot sooner than Soraka support. So that's going to be another thing they're going to have to keep an eye on. Soraka top is going to hit 6 probably a few minutes before Soraka support usually would. And also, Ahri is a great roamer, so she's able to just push out the midway pretty easily. Karma, thankfully, also does have a bit of AoE, so it might make it a little more punishing on Moyo, but if Moyo's able to push in the wave and look bot lane and just try to get this Draven behind, can definitely help them later in the game, because if Draven falls too far behind, he's not ever going to be able to scale up enough where he'll be past Aphelios at any point in the game.
Absolutely. We have about 1 minute here before we will get into that loading screen and get onto the Rift for game number 2. We haven't talked about the mid lane a whole lot. We got Ahri up against Karma. Would probably expect to see a double glacial lane here. We'll see what build Moyo decides to go for, but I think probably more likely than not we will see a lot of glacial in the mid lane, which it's going to be a pretty slow lane, pardon the pun, for that. So I wouldn't expect a ton of solo killing going on. Both of these champions can heal, Ahri, in different ways. Ahri with her Q, Karma with the empowered W. Might work out. We'll see how that fighting goes down. But I think, we'll see some trade go back. Q's traded, maybe a charm landing by Moyo, but I think it'll take a gank from a jungler and a really reasonably sizable commitment by either of these teams to try to get a kill in the mid lane. I would expect it to be just a farm lane. We have 2 control mages. They're not really renowned for their fighting.
Yeah, something else to point out is basically besides the set ulti, and I guess the thresh hook, it's kind of hard for Bagels to engage. So something that'll be useful to keep an eye on out is the Karma empowered E with her ulti, which just speeds up the whole team. They can just run in. If Set's able to get extra move speed, especially on top of his Q, and just run in and maybe just throw the Maokai into the rest of TDMS, that's a huge amount of damage, a lot of CC right there, and huge team fight potential from Bagels here. So if Karma's able to manage that correctly, just will really help their engage out in the later parts of the game.
I think a lot of this game will come down to really just how tanky this Maokai can be. He's pretty much the only frontline that his team has. Lee Sin, not quite as tanky as that totemic Maokai we have down in the bot lane. And I think it'll really just see how long he can tank up with that Soraka on his back. Is he able to soak a lot of damage, or does he just kind of get one shot by, set by the Draven? And I think that bot lane dynamic is just going to be so important in this game, because without a frontline, I think the Dark Matter squad is, pretty much just toast. In this game, they won't have any ability to fight back. They're not going to be able to tank any damage. And we saw in the last game, that Maokai versus no Maokai, what a difference that did make. And so I think that's probably what we're going to see again here, probably even with the same champion. It might just end up being no Maokai versus Set and Thresh. And I think that could turn the tide in this game.
Yeah, and what you said in Champ Select about the double glacial, we actually have no glacial here. So Ahri's going electrocute for that extra early kill power, but less zone control later in the game. So with the Maokai, if Ahri had glacial, it would really help just make sure those roots are guaranteed and make it so they can't kite away as easily. But going for the early power instead, and Karma goes with the meteor, so she's also just gonna be looking to poke out the Ahri and try to keep Ahri from roaming down bot lane and putting the Draven ahead by just making sure that Ahri's not healthy enough to do that.
Yeah, shows when I know, apparently. So I don't know. I would have gone Glacial. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't play mid lane, so who knows? Draven did go Conqueror, something I've been seeing a little bit more. I'm not a huge fan. I kind of like to press the attack on Draven. I think it does a lot, especially against tanks. So it might be good in that bot lane, but has gone for the Conqueror choice. A little bit more long-lasting teamfight prowess, but if it gets knocked away somehow, it can be pretty hard to get back, especially with just auto attacks, which is a lot of what that's going to be stacked by. So we'll see how that keystone affects the game. The rest of the keystones, pretty standard stuff throughout. Phase Rush on Graves is pretty fun to get a little bit more movement speed as we see pings for an invade going down. So,
Yeah, I wonder if Draven's going to be going the Manamune build. So that's popping up a little bit now because it's a lot cheaper in the early game, and you can just start off a pickaxe in your first back, and you actually, for the amount of cost of the items here, as it looks like they might meet Jay of the Deeps here, 5-man. Let's see
I
what
don't think
happens here.
he's seen him yet. The ward goes down. Jay the Deep's in a decent amount of trouble here. You'd have to think he's going to have to blow the summoner. The flash hook goes through. Oh, the flash in a straight line. Jay the Deep's going to find himself in all sorts of trouble. Gets taken out. And Kai Pura picking up the kill. Really unfortunate there for Jay of the Deeps. You do not want to flash in a straight line against a skill shot like that. So nice kill going over in favor of the jungler there. Kaipura going to start off with a nice advantage, a nice longsword there in his inventory. That is, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so, second time's the charm, I guess, for Bagels. 5-man invading game 1, didn't really get much out of it. This game, they get a kill, and that's going to be really helpful in the Graves this early, getting that extra longsword. Probably would have liked it to be on the Draven to get that extra goal from the passive, but, still better to get a kill than no kill. And so what I was saying before the 5-man invade, Draven might go the Manamune build here, because by buying the Manamune and a lethality item. It is actually about 1,000 gold cheaper than IE and Bloodthirster, but gives you comparable damage early, but 1,000 gold cheaper. So you basically are able to hit your item spikes a little earlier, and it gives you a lot more early power. And then once, if you end up getting later in the game, you can just start selling off lethality once it becomes less useful.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely taking a lot more popularity. In solo queue, you do miss out on a little bit of lifesteal. That's pretty much the only downside of this build. So I would expect that to be played here by Christian. I would say it's the standard now on Draven, but I might be mischaracterizing that. We will see what he goes for. At any rate, doesn't really matter what's popular is. We only have one game here, so we'll see how that works out. But Bagel's kind of exerting a lot of pressure now. Level 2s across the map. As some fighting going on, but I don't think we'll see a ton of kill pressure, but just a lot of tempo gained by Bagels off that early kill.
You can see there what I was talking about with the Soraka E. So she's just able to, when Set walks in on her, just put your E down at your feet. You're pretty much guaranteed to get the root as long as you don't run off of it too quickly, or because either Set's going to have to run away from your E, and then he's not going to be able to follow trading up on you, and you can just keep autoing him and using your Q and kite him away with that, and it, like, you can already see how much damage he's put down onto the Set early.
Yeah, and she just kind of healed back up too, right? If you think, 25 seconds ago she was less than half HP, and Corrupting Potions plus that Q do a lot of damage for you there, as Hook in the bot lane, gonna get pulled in. We switch back over to the mid. Moyo trading here, so apparently that Hook did not go to a whole lot. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. He was able to get himself out of that one. As a nice CS lead already, though, by Christian. As JT's had a little bit of trouble under the turret. Yo-Yo Bro's going forward here onto Moyo. Ultimate not available, but Moyo taking a lot of punishment here in the mid lane, now out of potions as well.
Yeah, and it looks like the junglers might meet up at the scuttle here. Graves is a little bit ahead of Bisk. He's done one extra camp, it looks like. So it looks like they're probably going to meet up here. And with Steph pushing in a little bit, he's going to be able to help out his jungler as opposed to Quib. So yeah, Bisk unable to secure that.
Kaipura just running straight in on it. Nothing Bisk can do, right? Like you said, Moyo pretty low. He's going to have to use Blessman. Nice flash from Yo-Yo Bros as well. What a great use of that empowered Q. Bisk going to be falling here too. The auto attack comes through. A hook in the bot lane as well. They're just fighting across the map here for Bagels. JT going to get engaged. Going to get hit by that stand aside. Going very low under the turret. Trying to trade back a little bit of damage, but it is just all turning on Bagels here in the early. What a great invade by Kaipura, understanding that pressure that he had in the mid lane.
You're almost a 2k gold lead already at not even 5 minutes yet into the game, and you can tell that that longsword actually did help out the Graves there a lot. Just extra DPS and the phasers just being able to stick onto Bisk there made it so Bisk is basically unable to get away there.
Other hook in the bot lane, empty script under the turret. That is not what he was hoping for, as Christian has to get himself out. That's a pretty unfortunate play. The stand-aside flash there by Christian to make sure that he got himself to safety. A lot of summoners traded in the bot lane, but in the end, it's Inti that goes down.
Yeah, great flash by JT there. Waited until the Thresh started reactivating his Q, so he started, moving towards JT, and then JT was able to flash deep enough under tower that there was basically no way for Inti to get out. They also have the flash timers because Jay doesn't have his flash up, Inti doesn't have his flash up, so they knew that there's no way for him to get out and just able to secure it there pretty easily.
Very well played there. Kaipura catching a ward in the mid lane. I would expect to see a dragon attempted here pretty early on by Bagels. Now they are so far ahead, have a lot of pressure on the bot side. And just to check in on the build, it looks like it might not be that Manamune build, picking up a Vampiric Scepter there for Christian. So it might be going for a little bit more standard build, wants that lifesteal and the extra security from the Bloodthirster shield, which I think is a pretty acceptable goal. In this game, I don't have a ton of a problem with that. Yeah, that is correct English there, folks. As Dragon being pressured now, Vision going down, as Inti might look for a nice hook here. Decides against it. Well, a little bit too late actually, but he's trying his best, so you definitely applaud the effort.
Yeah, so with the Vamp Scepter here, it's definitely going to help Draven just survive this lane a little bit more, because before his Bloodline comes online, I'm most likely taking the Bloodline as in the whatever tree that is. Precision tree, that's the word. So able to get that a little earlier, some of the lifesteal, instead of having to, use the pickaxe. So a little less damage, but more healing is definitely going to make this lane a little more difficult for Aphelios. Even though he got that one kill, still Draven just has so much early kill power if they get a hook. And now with JT with no flash, if they get a hook on JT, he's pretty much toast.
Yeah, one of my favorite expressions. I think I'm passing it on to the rest of the casters here at Style Esports. So, who knows? Everybody's just toast at this point. But hey, who doesn't like toast, right? It's great food. So, anyway, just like a bagel, you might say. Anyway, getting back into the game here, I will show myself out. You're never seeing me again, everybody. But Christian, spinning some axes in the bot lane, has regained his 10 CS lead here, just intimidating, basically, the tree and the Aphelios here in the bot lane. Even though it is the F-Sword 2 map center, it still feels scary here as it is coming to life, rather. JT going down. What a great hook from Inti as well. Heat seeking onto Jay the Deep. Christian chasing forward here. They might try to give him the kill. Inti script with a nice play as well. Okay, Pura going to pick up that kill with the ultimate. In the end, great play there. One kill going over to Christian. That's enough to cash in for him as they move on toward the Dragon.
Yeah, something really big there. Christian got a kill. That's a lot of gold over to him. Thankfully, was able to survive with a little mess up by Inti there earlier. So, you know, if he ends up dying there, you lose 75% of your stacks there, which is a lot of gold, especially early in the game when you're really just trying to farm up, get your items. So he's going to be a lot closer to Bloodthirster. Might actually even be able to pick up the BF sword and another long sword to get pretty much only about 1,000 gold away from finishing that item.
Yeah, he will be able to do that. When he goes back to base, 1,700 gold in inventory, which is just a ton, considering he already has that map scepter. He's, now 700 gold ahead of JT down in the bot lane. So working out for the Draven, at least thus far, can have some problems later on in the game. So we'll see how that works out for him.
Yeah, something to point out, they're already up 3k gold at 8 minutes into the game and have a dragon. So Bagels is looking really good here, and part of it is because they have 3 kills on Graves as Inti looks mid here.
Well, has the Spirit Rush. He should be okay. Yeah, he gets himself out. Has to use that ultimate though, so you have to think in the end, pretty worthwhile for that bot laner to walk off Inti script, right? We saw Christian was already back in base, so not a whole lot of time lost here. Inti can recall, has the Moby boots to get him back to bot lane, and the pressure gain in the mid allows Pura to go on toward the Herald better.
So with getting the Herald here, also have to look at Jay the Deep already has 2 deaths. So something that was so good for Big Old last game was the fact that the Maokai never fell super far behind and was just able to basically tank up the entire team. But considering Jay's a support and already has 2 deaths here, it's going to take him a lot longer to be able to get those tanky stats. So it's going to be a lot harder to rip through him if they decide to team fight a little earlier.
Moyo finds himself in a lot of trouble, not even able to get to the wall to use that flash summoner spell. He's just taken out of this one. 4-0 now on Kai Pura's Graves, and the Herald picked up to boot. 2 assists as well. Player 10 could find themselves in a ton of trouble under the tower as we move into the bot lane. A nice hook going to land once again onto JT. He's going very low, very fast. The Wish coming out to try to keep him alive, and that will fend off the play for now, but it might not fend off the play in the top lane. Dive being threatened. We continue to play in the bot lane, actually. Jay of the Deeps now taking a lot of damage from Christian. He's going to go forward. There's the Whirling Death coming through. Can he get? What a great flash from Christian as well. He's going to go for a bit more onto JT under the tower. There's the flash. Christian does not want to chase. Moonlight Vigil comes out to try to trade back, but that's going to miss. The Q as well goes wide, and JT and Jay of the Deeps find themselves in the Death Chambers. The play going to continue here. Christian uses the heal. There is the Dragon's Rage from Bisque. Going to pick up the 1 kill. Christian should be able to get himself out to safety, though, and in the end, a 1-for-1, but a lot of damage coming out from this Draven Fresh lane.
Great flash by Christian there, just basically able to predict where Jay's going to go, just get that easy kill. As you see Blue Castle doing a little BM in the top lane, doing some sit-ups, trying to keep strong, especially with the gyms closed during the quarantine. So, yeah, you're going to have Draven probably finishing his Bloodthirster here as Moyo looks, maybe you get caught out.
Nice flash, Kai Pura just styling on them. Jay the Deep has arrived, though, so that styling may come to an end. Actually, Talon a lie. There's a double kill coming through, and the shield as well. Ignite's not going to mean a thing. Jay of the Deep's probably just going to get run down here. JT is pretty far away. There's the knockback as well, but it's a triple kill coming forward for Kai Pura, and this is just an insanely strong Graves. 7-0 and 2, 2,500 gold almost over their opposite number. Inti under the turret here, gets the hook onto JT. Is the Lantern available? JT trying to find a bit of solace under his tower. No Lantern quite available just yet, as we see Barrier using the top lane. The Showstopper coming through onto player 10. Haymaker going to go a bit wide. Does he have the 1 more auto attack? Yes, he does. Blue Castle picks up that kill. It is just all Bagels all over the map as they take control, and the Herald spawn in the bottom.
Yeah, this has just gone from bad to worse for TDMS. It's going to be down over 6k gold already at only 11 minutes into the game. The second dragon even hasn't even spawned yet. So, and even JT there, he sees Thresh come at him, and he's like, well, is someone behind him, and is it just the Thresh? And Thresh is by himself, but JT doesn't even know, like, is anyone near me? Like, can I even attempt to fight this and just lose his half his health, basically, just right there. So this is gone from bad to worse from TDMS.
Absolutely. Yo-Yo Bros also pressuring in the mid. There's just no bright spot for the Dark Matter squad at this point in the game. Inti with a nice flash, trying to go for a little bit more. That was maybe a little bit overeager. But hey, you like the style here. We are Style Esports. After all, Christian getting all those stacks on the mini Krugs here. As they do decide to back off, Bagel's going to take a little bit of a reset here, probably before this second dragon, which is up in under a minute's time. So they do want to get those recalls in, get some purchases in. They have over 4,000 gold in inventory on their bottom 4 members on the map. So definitely want to spend that before that dragon play is intended. Hopefully by them. I would expect them to just try to rush through these dragons pretty quickly. They can take pretty much any fight at this point, so it probably does not matter a whole lot.
Yeah, so basically I'm trying to look at maybe what can TDMS do here to try to like stifle the bleeding. They're down 1-0, so they have to win this game somehow. So something they really got to do is just try to not take all these unnecessary fights. The Draven is super far ahead. The Graves is massively ahead of everyone else on TDMS. So if they're able to just farm it out, get Soraka some more support items, and maybe get Moyle to his 1-item power spike, get Aphelios a couple items, they have a chance to be able to win team fights if the Maokai's able to tank enough. It's just going to be really difficult to get there, but that's basically what they got to look for and try not to fight unnecessarily right now.
I do agree with that. We might actually see one of these fights that maybe is unnecessary. There are the ultimates coming out from the 80. Carries Kaipura going very low. Moyo as well. Might can take it out. Nice shield onto Kaipura to keep them alive for a long time. Bis goes and gets the shutdown. 1,000 gold in his pocket. Christian now on a killing spree though. Has picked up that kill. JT running for his life. Moyo as well with a nice charm, but he's just so low. You can't do a whole lot here. Inti script running at JT. Hook goes out. Misses that one. The dragon does go over though. Bit of a messy fight. Both stranglers go down, but in the end, the dragon goes the way of Bagels.
So a little bit of a better trade, I would say, for TDMS. Getting that kill on Graves, getting 1,000 gold to Bisk. Maybe not the member you wanted on, but it's better than not getting it at all. And they lose the dragon, but they probably wouldn't have been able to get that anyway. But actually, Draven getting the kill onto Bisk makes that a little worse. He gets a little bit of the extra pass gold and be able to get a BF sword on his back here most likely, and just be able to start working towards that Infinity Edge. And once he gets that, he's just going to be dealing out insane amounts of damage with the spinning axe and the crit.
Yeah, we saw how much damage he was doing on Caitlyn last game, right? I mean, take Caitlyn and then add a spinning axe, right? He's that far ahead once again, but he's just going to do so much damage. I mean, a couple, 2-3 auto attacks could take out a carry, JT or Moyo, or even player 10, right? If there's no, Wish coming through on that. So there could be, a lot of damage from this Draven in quite a short amount of time here as he has now recalled. I don't think he has enough gold for that BF sword. He has actually sold the item. I think he sold his refillable pot, and he's now trying to make his decision in the shop here. He's puzzling over. He'll figure it out at some point here, but red buff going over to Kaipura. Actually, a bit of a disconnection here from Christian. He couldn't decide what to buy, and he just DCs. So that's a little bit unfortunate, as some little bit of an oof, as Moyo has said in the chat here. So hopefully this is not super long. Once again, Christian had some internet problems earlier, so hopefully he comes back here in just a couple of seconds. But yeah, we'll just take a look at the game state as we are right now. We got a beautiful view of Kaipura here, farming out the Krugs.
Yeah, Rift Herald's going to be up in just a little under 20 seconds, excuse me. So Kaipura can just get the Krugs here, just look to go down there. I mean, he can pretty much fight Bisk one-on-one, maybe not with Soraka with the healing, but he can pretty much almost take any 1v2 fight too. He's just so far ahead. Has the Warrior, has the Black Cleaver, has the Mercury Treads for the CC reducing ability. So pretty much he goes where he pleases, and if he has enough of those grit stacks to get that extra armor, Bisk will barely even do damage to him at this point in the game. So looking to probably see him pick up the Rift Herald when the pause ends, and maybe put a top lane to try to get Blue Castle more ahead than he already is.
Yeah, Herald coming up in under a minute's time, and yeah, Kaipura is just 2,000 gold, almost exactly ahead of Bisk. Has that Black Cleaver. It's just not looking great for Bisk at this point in that 1v1 in the jungle. Even with the Soraka ult coming through, Wish only does so much, right? If we take a look at it, we have time now. Why not? It only does, about 200 HP, a little bit more, about 300 if that champion is below 40%. But, that 300 HP is not going to be the difference in a duel between Kaipura and Bisk, right? It's going to be, Kaipura gets tickled and Biss gets killed. At this point, that shotgun's fully loaded. Black Cleaver's ready. Warrior Enchantment's ready. Like you said, the boots coming through for Tenacity. It's just the whole package is here for Kaipura right now, as is the items for the rest of the team, right? The Blade of the Ruin King is ready. The Luden's Echo is ready. The Bloodthirster's ready. Inti Script, the only one without a fully completed item, just the support, right? So a little bit less on the income side of things. So Inti going to have to wait a little bit longer, although has 200 gold in his pocket. So maybe working toward those items pretty shortly here. But yeah, it's just a huge advantage so far for Bay Team. Or Bagel, sorry.
Yeah, and along with that, they really can't. So basically, this Graves and Straven is so fed now, and then you also see Karma's 1-0 and 4. You know, maybe she's obviously not as fed as the rest of the members, but that's still, you know, Luden's Echo completed at 14 minutes. That's still going to do a lot of damage, and especially owing to the fact that no one on TDMS has any sort of magic resist at all, right? Because they're all like, oh, Thresh and Graves, basically just, or excuse me, Draven and Graves are just going to do a ton of damage to me. They don't even account for the Karma. And if Karma's able to, you know, pump out a couple Qs in a team fight, also just going to shred through their team along with Graves and Draven, even with the armor that TDMS has on top of that.
Just a nice source of magic damage, right, to have on top of the two auto-attacking AD carries, as well as Blue Castle, right, who does mostly magic damage and the true damage from the Haymaker. But yeah, we are in this pause. We're going to step aside, I think, here for just a couple minutes. Christian probably, I would assume, resetting that router. So we'll be back with you guys as soon as Christian is back with us in the game. So yeah, sorry for all the technical difficulties, but we'll be back in just a few. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 here in our Shurima Showdown, as we are right back into the fighting. Blue Castle picking up the kill onto player 10 here, as Moyo is arriving in the top lane. Christian's finally back into the game here. Pura finds out Moyo might have to use the ultimate over the wall here, or Moyo just might get taken out straight away. Collateral damage going to go a little bit wide, and Moyo has escaped from this one for now as they reset, but Bagels, Whirling Death comes through. Not quite enough. Bagels in complete control of this game.
Yeah, Kaiporo basically got hit by every ability that Moyo had, and then just went on him anyway and almost killed him and barely took any damage. So you can just see how far ahead this Braves is of everyone else on TDMS. You know, you probably can't even 1v2 him at this point, as they're just going to easily pick up the Rift Shield here, probably go top, as CT looks to be fighting a little bit.
Engage on to Christian here. Hook's going to go a little wide. Yo-Yo Bros down to JT. He doesn't stand a chance. He's going to be taken out. Wish comes through, and his death has only been prolonged by the surrender coming through here as Bagels does pick up this series 2-0 over TDMS. Right after the pause, a little bit unfortunate there on the timing, but that is a pretty clean win there for Bagels.
Yep, good job by Bagels, you know, closing it out in a sense, you know, just basically, you know, ahead right from the get-go. Right when they got that kill on Jay, the Deeps pretty much from right there was just, well, running forward, able to get a few kills in bot lane. Kaiporo just got insanely ahead, and from there it's, you know, pretty hard to come back from TDMS. So I think they're just throwing up the white flag and deciding to fight again another day.
Yeah, the rest is pretty much history there. Just the advantage gained early and just never given back by Bagels. They continued pushing that lead, and they ended up 8,000 gold up, right? So it's just not an advantage you're going to come back from, you know, especially the 2 dragons to 0. It's just, there's, you know, you can't even draw up a script of a way where TDMS does come back in that game, right? But great play by Kaipura and the bot lane, playing to the win condition, getting these marksmen ahead, and they just kind of snowballed the game.
Yeah, you can just see the damage on Kaipora, just able to snowball the game so insanely hard, and you know, Draven getting those couple kills, just giving him way more gold than pretty much any other AD carry he can get, along with that passive, just made it so it's almost impossible for TDMS to come back. You know, they might have to stall for 40-50 minutes if they're even able to do that to try to come back in this game. So unfortunate for them, but great game plan executed by Bagels in both game 1 and 2.
Yeah, that passive for Draven that we just talked about coming in, you know, pretty strong there. He's 1,500 gold up on Yo-Yo Bros, despite having, you know, 2 more kills, but 2 less assists, right? So gold-wise, he's, you know, 1 or 2 kills behind Yo-Yo Bros, and he's about, you know, 12 or 1,300 gold ahead just off of his passive and turret plates, right? And I think that in and of itself is pretty wild there for the Draven. The turret plates don't give a ton of gold, right? I mean, they give some for sure, but a lot of that is coming from that passive. On Draven, just a great snowball tool for him.
Yeah, big thing there too was him not dying when Inti ended up, you know, queuing in under tower with JT, was at level 4 or 5. Him able to survive there and keep all his stacks and then get a kill after that really made this game a lot easier for Bagels. You know, they were still really relatively far ahead at that point anyway, but that really is what changed this from pretty, like, good chance to win to pretty much almost impossible for TDMS to come back into this game just from that one play.
Yeah, absolutely. Great series overall by Bagels, really just styling on the competition here. But that is going to do it for us this evening here on our Shurima Showdown. Did go the way of Bagels in 2-0 fashion. I would like to thank Timmy Westside for his debut performance. Hope you all enjoyed him on the stream. He will be back tomorrow night for another matchup that we have for you, so be sure to check out the stream for that. If you are interested, our Discord, website, YouTube, and music credits are linked below the stream. You're welcome to come chat with us in the Discord at any time. We do enjoy chatting with all of you, as well as updates about future games and other situations going on for all things Style Esports. Check out that Discord. Other than that, though, that's going to do it for us tonight. On behalf of myself, Timmy Westside, Axeman87, who has been our gracious host this evening, thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next time. Good night.